game and, you know, drag it out to that longer, basically macro-style game.
So to get our players introduced, moving into game number 2 here on Entombed Valley. Wow, surprised that they actually didn't ban that map. Down here in the lower right-hand corner of the map, this is Empire's Violet. And in the upper left-hand corner of the map, the one, the only, Complexity Ganzi.
Yeah, and also, you know, he went for proxy racks that first game, and, you know, we don't see him doing anything similar to that, because before he went for the double racks, of course, which means you have to send out at least one of those SCVs pronto. Now, we are going to be seeing the supply depot go down here right now, and also, on top of that, it is going to be a 4-player map, and what that means is those proxy racks, if you want to do them effectively, you need to do something like building them all right here, or kind of at this, well, not up here, because there's destructible rocks there, but somewhere on the side of the map that is most likely going to have your opponent. This is something that we saw utilized in Brood War quite a bit, where if it's a 4-player map, a player, not only is he taking a gamble going for the proxy, he's also taking a gamble on where's my opponent going to spawn. And I don't think Ganzi is much of a gambling man after losing all his money in that first game.
No, well, I mean, maybe he would still be a gambling man if he had any more pennies in his pockets.
Yeah, man. I feel like if I went to the casino with a bunch of minerals, I would leave home, or I'd leave for home with just Vespine gas. And I guess I could make a lot of high Templars still, but other than that, not a whole lot. But we can see here that he is going to go ahead, build that supply depot behind the mineral line. He's saying, I don't even want to wall in here versus Violet. I think I can micro if he decides to all in me.
Well, and maybe the idea is, hey, maybe he'll come over here, see that I don't have a supply depot out, see that I'm not ready for any sort of wall, and maybe I can change up his strategy.
Maybe.
But of course, Violet unwavering in his macro fortitude. Already throwing down his expansion. Oh, wow. And now we see Violet able to get over there and see Ganzi's command center start.
Actually spotted it there with the drone. And, I mean, it's not to be unexpected that he would scout that. But for Ganzi, imagine how differently this game could have played out, Rob. If he hit this command center, the drone scouting around the main base, he's like, where the hell are all of the barracks? Is he proxying me again? And then he prepares for a short-term game. He's throwing up spine crawlers. He's getting Zerglings out. He's ready for it. Just to find out that Ganzi has not made any units yet, but instead scouting that out, he's going to be prepared. And also what I would expect to see here from Violet is he basically has 2 options, be super, super, super aggressive, or just drone up like crazy like we saw in the other game.
Right, and now, so since this is Entombed Valley, and they do have cross spawns, this is actually a fantastic macro map. Now, that third base is a little bit awkward for the Zerg, but you can see that because Ganzi already went out there and went for his CC first and is only following up with that 2 racks, that really he's not going to have the units that he would generally need to prevent Violet from taking that third anyway. Really, Violet can kind of do whatever he wants for the next few minutes.
Yeah, this is very similar to a Protoss player fast expanding in that, you know, it's up to the Zerg. Do I want to be aggressive with the 2-base timing, or even a 1-base timing? I guess he could attempt. We're way past that phase. Or do I just want to go ahead and take that 3rd base, sometimes even before the 5-minute mark? I mean, that's still an option. He is hovering a couple additional resources here. He already has both of his queens going, and he very well may just take that 3rd base here before the 5-minute mark, because, you know, at this pace, the Terrans already said, hey, I'm sitting back. There's not a lot coming out of my base here anytime soon. So now the ball's kind of in your court, Violet.
Oh, man. So, I mean, and most certainly is. And now we've seen that Violet is a very adept ball player. Right, so really, he can pull some serious tricks.
He's like that really tall kid in not high school, like middle school, who you're playing tetherball with, and he's just like spinning it around the top, and you don't stand a chance. But right now you can see...
He's the guy that can actually just dunk while his feet are still on the ground.
Right, like how is that balanced? Now we do see that this Overlord may get taken out. This is going to be great for Ganzi. He is indeed going to be able to take that one out. And down goes the Overlord. I believe he's going to take it down at least.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Yep, down it goes right there.
That fast Overlord speed isn't helping him at all.
Oh, no, man. He's like, I'm buffed. I got this, guys. No, indeed getting taken out. And once again, we see Violet going for a lot of queens here. And again, that's just going to be the continuation of what we saw in the previous game. It's going to be the continuation of what we've seen in this matchup as a whole. And that is going to be lots of creep.
Oh, wow. And so we see Violet starting to work on that rock for just a small amount of time. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and, while there's not too much happening in the game, let's get in there and lower that game sound just
I was going to say, it seems like it's definitely extremely... Oh, it's at 100%.
Oh, there we go. Oh, ladies and gentlemen.
That would definitely explain it.
Oh, this is
I was actually just about to check Twitter to see exactly what it is, because it's kind of hard to tell for us, you know, if you guys are hearing it as loud as we possibly do. So we will definitely keep an eye on that, and just let me know on Twitter how the sound effects are, because I want it to be a perfect stream. And
it actually, now we can't hear the guns firing at all, but we'll actually deal with that sound as soon as this battle finishes up. We have those Marines now following up, getting out here, and they are pushing directly into Violet's base. Now he's waiting for those 18 Lings to finish. He has a few of those Queens out there. He doesn't want to lose anything. He wants his entire attacking force before he's going to engage here. Now he's actually, we see Violet losing so many drones here, actually just by taking a brief look at the units lost tab right now. Violet is significantly ahead in units lost, which means that he's slowly falling behind.
Now it did even up there.
Those Marines chasing down the single Queen, unable to finish off and losing all of them in the carnage rather than getting a little bit more guaranteed damage.
Yeah, man, what an interesting attack there out of him. Again, looking at that units lost tab, it is about the same, but I'm curious on the workers killed. He actually only ended up killing 4 workers there. It looked like it was a much larger massacre because the drones were pulled off the line.
There were actually a lot of Lings in there as well, so that's where a lot of that firepower also ended up going.
Yeah, and this is something that I try to tell Zerg players who are at least worse than me, because I don't want to be giving advice to anyone who's better than me, but pulling off drones in these early versus Terran attacks, it's almost a necessity. Now, they feel like your little babies, like you just want to keep them safe. You don't even want to send them to preschool yet because maybe they'll get beat up, but you have to pull those drones off. You have to use them to deal with the Marines.
Because you totally get beat up in preschool.
In preschool, man, I don't know. I don't know about this. And I'll go ahead and try turning up the sound just a little bit. Hopefully it sounds okay. But I guess I don't know. I think I officially
there's only 11 and 0. Those are your 2 options.
Yeah, usually when I record at home, it's at 4%. So I don't know. We'll get it fixed for the next game here. But it does look like Ganzi is going to be continuing the mass Marine production here. And it does look like, you know, he's working on that +1 attack. Stim nearly done here. But taking a look at the positioning our Terran player is at, he's completely walled in here, which means when he wants to take that 3rd base, he can bust down the rocks and do so.
Oh, man, and Ganzi is doing what he can. Oh, Ganzi also starting on the rocks of his own, so he is going to be going for his 3rd base very, very soon. Actually, that command center is already finished up. He's also adding on yet another barracks. Whoa, says, no, I'm not adding another barracks, but he is going to be doing that quick swap so that he can start pumping out those medevacs. Now, if Ganzi, because he was able to get out there and do a little bit of damage earlier, he's, their guns are working now. Is back.
Don't worry, we will find the perfect balance. We actually had this tested before, but for some reason,
that's perfect.
There we go. We're stopping right there. Hopefully that's the money one. Again, guys, let me know on Twitter if it sounds good, just so I can make sure the stream is as good as possible. But right now, you know, going for an early 3rd, this is quite interesting because he's saying, you know what, my first game, tried the micro game, that didn't work. Let's go ahead and re-roll a new character, try the macro game. And I mean, in a tournament setting, you have to be able to change up your gameplay like that if your initial basically play style is not working.
Ooh, and we can see actually Ganzi is starting to go for a little bit of a sneaky walk around. We see those first 2 medevacs also following behind this army very closely. He's only about 25 seconds out from finishing that combat shield, which means that right when this attack could potentially hit, oh wow, he's actually getting as close as he can to that cliff so that the medevacs can meet him over there and then load up both of those medevacs full. And now by the time that he gets down and drops in Violet's base, this is going to be right when his combat shield finishes up. But little does he know that Violet is actually already just about fully prepared for this. He's got a Spore Crawler out there. That's going to be handling that medevac. And now 2 Spines are also just about to finish. Is he going to be able to react to this quick enough? One of those medevacs almost going down. There's 66 HP remaining, and now the second one is being attacked. Oh, and
there is an Overlord farm.
A
big group of Overlords here are going to get taken out, and can he pick these up? He needs to be careful of the Spore Crawler, though. And it is no! Trying to focus it down there with the Spore Crawler, and that was walking on the danger's edge, man, right there. He was that could have been a lot worse, but at the same time, he's using this momentum to clean out some of these creep tumors. And you have to remember that if you lose these creep tumors, you immediately lose the vision on the map. He is unloading the Marines here outside of the base to go ahead and begin healing those up. But Ganzi able to get a little momentum here, and he is actually ahead in the supply here. Just has to watch out for a huge Baneling hit.
Oh man, we can see Ganzi just willing to take risks. If danger was a cave, Ganzi is spelunking, and here we have him pushing once again into the 3rd base, just a little bit there, and then able to lift off with minimal damage taken. And now he's also starting to push in to the bottom side of that 3rd as well. And now, wow, a huge push out of Violet, moving up into Ganzi's 3rd up here on Entombed, and now just demolishing those SCVs left and right. Oh, Ganzi with no Oh, spreading apart, unfortunately losing his units left and right. He does escape with just enough Marines to fill up one of those medevacs.
All right, so this was some crazy back and forth. Let's take a look at the damage dealt. 4 workers killed to the 14 of our Zerg player. Overall, the units lost is got to be pretty high for both players. Yeah, they both have had fairly equal trades here, which I'm going to say this is going to start favoring the Terran player. Our Zerg player, Violet, is stuck on 3 bases, which is never comfortable versus Terran, but he does have burrowed. Bailing's here. Bailing landmine. No, he did do it. And the second landmine as well could go off. He decides to wait for it. And Ganzi, no. Oh my God, no. Oh, he does manage to get it there. Huge Bailing hits. And that's got to be the worst feeling ever as a Terran player.
Now, when you get that lead and you're like feeling so confident, you're like, I'm in my base. I'm safe, right? Violet tells you no, you are never safe.
Yeah, you are never safe from the green deadly landmines, man. You have got to watch out. That's why someone wrote a song about them, Rob, as they are very dangerous. And the 1-1 upgrade's now done for Zerg. 2-2, like seconds away from being done here.
Yeah,
and by seconds, song. I mean already done. It's all right. I mean, it was kind of okay. The rap part really ruined it for me, but it does look like a huge attack here with the Zerglings. The Bailing's got to be rolling it in, and can they kill out these tanks? Oh, yeah, this army is good night, goodbye, and units lost now is going to be favoring Violet here. And also, Rob, this gives him the opportunity to expand now, which is what he's been desperately needing here for a while.
Right, and down at that 4th is where we constantly saw Ganzi poking as he was using his medevacs to attack both the natural and the main base of Violet. He was particularly just trying to position his Marines around that southern part of the center of the map, where he's currently expanding that 4th. And now that he's demolished all of Ganzi's ground force, or at least the ground force that was staying active, that means that Violet's going to be able to take that 4th just about uncontested. But Ganzi staying pretty sneaky with his movements around the map, now moving around that left cavern. We've seen just how crucial this can be towards maintaining map control, but Violet knows exactly what's going on as he starts to move around and get in position.
This is still anyone's game, though, Rob, because, you know, our Terran player was able to get that 3rd base so quickly that that initial army we saw gone, I mean, that was kind of his gimme. Now he's using his real army. If he loses this army, this is where it's going to be a world of hurt. But look at this. He's already heading out for a couple of drops. He's got 2 medevacs loaded up here, and this may be a 3-prong drop here. This is what you have to do against a player like Violet. Violet's completely out of position with his Lynxes and Festers. Nowhere in sight. He does have a couple units down here, but look at the positioning right here, Rob, down in the bottom left side. As the medevac has revealed itself, it is fungal growth that is going to lose all those Marines inside. Uh-oh, but he does have a drop on the right side as well. This is still, could go either way. Violet has to control perfectly here.
Now, this is one of those things that you always talked about when Ganzi was first starting to get really big on scene. He is so good at staying active everywhere on the map all at once, as long as he can hit his momentum. But in comes Violet with a lot of Zerglings. He may be able to destroy the rest of this. And now the Infestor backup is coming in. Oh, no. But as all of those Lings engaged just a little too soon, that means that the Infestors cannot get out there to finish this off. And Ganzi's going to finish off by slowly poking at that 4.
Too soon indeed, Rob. There's a drop natural. Yeah, it does look like he is able to do a little bit of damage. Not a whole lot. Definitely not the best drop I've ever seen. But, you know, this army still remains. He's still got the very important team tank. But take a look at that production tab, Rob. We have 5 Ultras on the way. They're about to have Titan's plating. They're about to have 3-3. And that is very difficult to stop with just pure Marine siege tank. But if there's anyone who can do it, man, it might be Ganzi, as he does have quite a large force here. He is maxed out.
Now, he just needs to be able to engage Violet's army before it's in a place where he wants, right? As long as he was able to get out there before the Ultras are out, although, of course, right as we're saying that, 4 of those Ultras finished popping out. Now those are going to join the army. Now the interesting part here is that we actually have not seen Violet create a Spire just yet. And one of the mistakes that we've seen made time and time again is that you just build too many Ultralisks without worrying about getting up to Broodlords.
Rob, I just want to say something really quickly. There's an Ultralist that is building infinitely somewhere. I don't know where he is. At least on my production tab it shows him, so I don't know if his Ultralist count's got to be too low, as he did make 5 Ultras, but he does have 4 now. He cleans that one up. But look at the abuse of Ganzi here. He's like, all right, I lost that cliff. I'm going to go ahead and take another cliff here. And he's going to start bombarding like we were talking about. That natural, and Violet has got to clean this up.
Okay, and now Ganzi is making great use of the cliffs over there, but oh, Violet is onto him. He knows exactly what's going on as he moves around to the lower side of the cliff as well, but Ganzi staying so solid with his split. One of those Ultras just about to go down. It does have 6 armor on his Ultras, which means that those Marines are hitting for only 2 damage per shot, but when you have so many extra units, you are going to be a little bit ahead.
Now, it does look like the Marines have finally gotten cleaned up here, as we see, though, that this is actually a pretty sick game, as our Terran player keeping up in the macro. We do have 2 hidden bases in the top right side, and this attack has finally been cleaned up, but another drop down here manages to evacuate out of there, and this is what separates, I don't know the correct saying, the cream from the crop or whatever. This is what separates the pros from the bros, is being able to multitask like this so well and being able to continue the harassment even though there's ultras, even though there's so much going on in this game. He's focusing and he's keeping his opponent on his toes.
And that's really all that you can do. But now what I think really tells the story here is if we get those infestors selected, you can see just how much energy they have. He has not been using the infestors in any of these fights.
Right.
He just hasn't been able to get them in there before they finish off. And now Ganzi, once again, staying a bit active, getting up there, killing one of the queens down in the main. Anything to halt that production just a little bit is going to be what he's looking for. Oh, and now we can see, oh
my God.
Will it be able to get over?
It could have got away. The world's slowest
Ouch.
unit managing to chase it down. We talked about his multitasking being top-notch. That was a little bit of a slip up there with those medevacs, and he keeps sending them through the center. I'm not quite sure.
He did it on purpose. You know why? He was freeing up supply. Look at him build 2 Banshees.
There we go. That is actually a really good point there, Rob. 2 Banshees can be surprisingly useful at sniping infestors. EMP on Ghost is really good as well. We may be seeing the game-deciding attack here. Both players are getting into position. The hidden expansion's up in the top right side already. And here we go. The Fungal's going down, hitting all the tanks, hitting half the Marines, and the Ultralists are right there. They're saying hello. Who invited these guys to the party? Oh, wait, Violet did. It does look like that entire army is going to go the way of the Dodo Bird. Look at that. He has taken them all out.
Oh, man. Violet's in your map, crashing your party.
Yeah, it does look like he was able to clean that up, and that's exactly what we need. I feel like, you know, the pendulum's kind of swinging back and forth for these players, and the Banshees now got to start picking away at these Ultras. This is just trying to force some anti-air, and I do like this use of the Banshee to keep Violet back in his base, but the expansion getting attacked right now.
Yeah, just a little. So if we actually take a look just briefly at the unit count up here, really, there's only 1 queen in play right now from Violet, and that is the only unit that's able to attack air, of course, aside from the infested Terrans. And now we have Violet coming in here, going in for a kill up at the 4th base. There he is, trying to crush through with all those lanes, also pulling up at the Ultralisk. Ganzi just doesn't look like he has exactly what he needs to hold this. We can see that command center is being changed into a planetary fortress, but it's not long for this world. The almost planetary fortress does go down, and Ganzi is going to be losing his 4th base as he tries to get more units out of here. We have those Banshees now trying to get in to even the tide just a little bit. But it's
that awkward moment when you transfer all your workers over, and there's a base there. He will begin attacking that, and it does look like he may actually be able to clean these up. I don't know. They are in a choke point, which is where Terran's going to be the strongest, but not even enough tanks here to hold it off, even with the multitudes of upgrades he has. Now, Ganzi's trying to go for a base race, but I don't think this is enough to actually kill off all of the reinforcements here for Violet, because Violet can still make a lot of units. He does actually hold this off for now, and the supply is actually favoring Terran, so Ganzi is still in this, Rob.
Yeah, he's actually looking pretty solid right now, starting to move across the center of the map. Now pushing up into that natural and into that 3rd base as he gets over here. Now Violet has been forced to pull drones. He's also bringing down his entire force of Ultralisks. Oh, and Violet staying very active as well. If we take a look up at that 3rd base of Ganzi, he has so many infestors with a ton of energy, just ready to wreak absolute havoc.
Oh dear, I think it's about to happen. Oh, but he misses his chance. The minerals
he just
mine
needs the
out.
fungal.
Oh, he managed to get every single SCV with that, and he throws it down again. Goodbye, SCVs. Oh my goodness. Now, I was going to say he missed his chance because the mineral patch disappeared, so the SCV spread out. But nope, he still utilized that. We do have a drop continuing down here. There's not enough to clean up this amount of ultras, though. He needs to get out of there. But at the same time, Ganzi has 3-3 upgrades. He's got quite the army. He technically has a supply lead. Rob, this is like a totally sick game. I just want to say that this game is still going. I'm still commentating. I have no voice left already, but this game is sick.
It most certainly is, Mike. And now you can see Ganzi, he's trying to stay in this. He's trying to figure out, okay, how do I make sure that I do not fall behind in this game? Violet has taken a couple risks getting out here. We've seen him, he tried taking a sneaky 5th and a 6th base. Of course, Ganzi with his transfer did find out exactly where that 5th base was and took it out. But Violet now isn't really in a great position to to fully saturate that extra fifth that he has right now. And if we just take a look up there for just a brief second, we can actually see that Ganzi is now trying to land a command center over there. So soon, Violet will no longer have a sneaky base.
Man, this game is so awkward for Ganzi. He's like going to the party. He's like trying to meet all the girls, but the first one he spills the drink on her. The second one he accidentally just says something completely embarrassing. But you know, every time you try to land here and there's creep, you're just like, oh my god, I'm so furious right now. But his supply's looking good. The infestor's oh dear. Is he gonna do anything? Is he gonna fungal it? Hopefully these are not on the move command. He could do it. There he goes, and the fungals manages to get one down. Not a second one lands. There it is on the left side. There's a second attack over here on the right side. So Violet says, man, I'm all in. I'm going for it, but I don't know if he has enough here, Rob.
Ouch, and now we can actually see what happens when you just continue to stay on Ultralist. He really didn't worry too much about moving up that tech path any further. He didn't ever make the Spire. He never bothered trying to get the Greater Spire and move into that Broodlord tech path because it can just be so crucial. I mean, your Broodlords shoot free units. As long as you can distract the Marines for just a few seconds, that's what's going to change the tide of battle.
And, you know, I'm wondering if Violet... Oh, no. Fighting up that ramp may not be good. He was...
Wow. The Banelings connected. What?
Oh, my goodness. He just says, you know what? I know you're ahead, so here...
You know what's also crazy? Look how close those bases are to each other that they're actually mining from.
Yeah.
Right, this is like those old like 64 by 64 8-player maps in StarCraft 1.
Oh man, we have Steps of War up in here, man. We have the Bloodbath map where they are just right next to each other.
Fastest map ever, extra small. FFA.
Always a fun map, but right now, I gotta say, neither of these players probably having fun. They're probably stressed out as this game is so dangerously close for both of them. It does look like the expansion up on the top right side, it's gotta get taken out. He only leaves one Marine there to clean that one up. The expansion has dropped on the right side. Now the Zerglings cleaning up the reinforcements now loose inside the main base. How long can they stay alive? So far for quite a while.
Oh, and here just trying to stay active with those links. Now, Violet's doing a great job. He needs to get in as many of those jabs as possible because, as we can see, there's no more units for him to get massive connects in with, right? He only has those 5 Ultras out in the center of the map, and we've seen that time and time again. Ganzi has dealt with those Ultras repeatedly. Now there's quite a few Banelings coming out there. Maybe that's exactly what he'll need to take out Ganzi's ground army.
Oh no, Ganzi again throwing another medevac away. This is about the 5th or 6th time he's done this. Now this time he will unload the units, which I guess cost him a couple of Banelings, which should not be underrated. Banelings do cost a lot. And a lot of times that's why you'll see what looks like an even exchange, but the Banelings aren't actually that cost effective. And right now the unit's supply is 162 to 127, which I mean that means Ganzi is super in this game. And look at this, Rob. He's got an expansion here. He's walled it off with all these units, which means he's got access to 2 more bases once this creep eventually clears out.
Exactly, and Ganzi is in this for the long haul. We just took a look at the income tab for just briefly, and Ganzi has over double the income of his opponent. Right now, Violet, the longer this game goes on, the slower that he's going to be at building his additional reinforcements. And wow, we can actually see that the Harvester count is actually pretty low. Neither of these guys are too worried about repopping their worker count.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying a little bit, but you take a look at the production tab and you see Banshees, Siege Tanks, Marines, and Zerglings. Not a single worker. And that's what happens when a game gets in this situation. And this is why it's really tough for Zerg players, where if you do a complete army exchange, if you lose a couple of workers, then what do you start using your larva on when you're 40 supply behind? Do you try and go for the big Baneling hits? Do you try and use cost-effective Ultralists? Or do you try and macro up and take a big risk? I mean, it's a tough choice. Violet obviously deciding to make a lot of links to be cost-effective. And that is leaving him with a little additional extra gas left over. But, you know, the longer this game goes on, Violet can claw his way back in, especially if Ganzi decides to sit back for a little too long.
Well, so Ganzi over here, once again, willing to take risks. That left middle expansion, he's now landed an orbital command there just for the sole purpose of landing mules. That way, all of his other bases are going to mine out very evenly. He won't have to worry about those patches disappearing too soon because taking another base will be very difficult. This way, he only needs to keep that base for a short amount of time, and he's really only going to lose temporary units if it does get taken over.
Right.
I mean, Violet is now caught into an awkward situation. He's forced to expand up that left side of the map, but Ganzi is already preparing.
Oh, Banelings. There's Banelings right there, Rob. Oh, my goodness. Oh, another massive hit. That's exactly what he has to do to try and carve his way into that army. But at this point in the game, it does look like this expansion is going to get taken out. Spine Cars will not be done in time, but a massive counterattack. This may be exactly what Violet needs to try and end this game in his favor, because at this point, fighting up that ramp, though, that is a Zergling meat grinder. I don't know if Violet has enough to end this here.
Oh, man, but he's going to try as he might now as the supply continues to favor Ganzi further and further as Ganzi continues his carnage around the lower left-hand side of the map, just demolishing all of those bases. But Violet is still staying so active in the main, and now he's in a situation where he is sitting on top of the production buildings.
Yeah.
And Ganzi may not be able to get enough to thwart off these units.
You know what? I think, though, Ganzi's making the right choice. He's going to fall back here. He's going to try and intercept these Infestors. Can the Infestors get good bungles? No, they run into siege tanks, which that's a unit that will gladly kill off all your Infestors. There's a huge fungal on the right side. Can he throw it down again? No, those units will survive for now. But it does look like Ganzi here intercepting a Queen right there, and we'll decide to continue pushing down there. But his whole base is getting completely owned. And if he... Wow, this is a sick game,
right.
Rob. I'm just going to keep saying that because that's exactly what it is.
It will stay true. So,
and he actually burrowed the Ultralisk. How often do you see that?
Oh,
well,
wow.
That lasted a long time.
So even though that Ganzi is still mining, he actually only has 2 production buildings. 3, 4, I guess 5. He's not going to really use that starport for anything, though, now.
Yeah, it looks like just one Banshee out of that one. The other one's burning down. And you know what,
he actually has so many production units that it was fine. Those were all bait for him anyway. Violet's now losing the remainder of his force very quickly, and Violet's only mining off of 1 base.
Yeah, I mean, look at the income tab.
The most oversaturated base ever.
Oh yeah, no, this is the party, man. This is exactly where it's at to be if you are a drone there. But it does look like, I mean, Ganzi maybe playing it a little too timid here. Maybe after that counterattack, he got a little bit nervous.
Or maybe after repeatedly having Banelings destroy half of his army, he's learned from his mistakes.
That is true, but we have to remember this expansion right here. This is awesome. I don't know if you saw that video with the dancing mule, but this is exactly what is happening down here. This is going to be a mule party. And just completely mining this base like crazy, 1 mule per patch, which means his income is at 2,200 minerals per minute there, and that's going to be good for him. But look at this, Ganzi's still turtling, man. He's throwing down bunkers, he's setting up his siege line again, and this game may continue forward.
It most certainly will, as we see Ganzi continue to just hang out. He's got double the food right now, but he is just being so timid with this. He wants that sure win. He's also just about completely rebuilt all of his production buildings on the upper right-hand side of the map. We have him. He has 6 Raxes up in that base, and now he's also going to be able to move all of those SCVs to just continue mining. He actually has so many extra minerals here that there's almost no way that Violet will even be able to make enough to stay in this. And now that Banshee getting over there, staying active. Of course, Ganzi actually never bothered to research Cloak. He was just using it to harass the units that couldn't attack air.
Yeah, and especially when a hectic game like this, a lot of times you're not going to be seeing players go for the Cloak just because there's so much going on. Now we do see another massive attack here from Violet. Now you got to remember he has pure Ling Baneling here, which can be very cost effective. Can he even the score, though? He's going to have to do an insane amount of damage, and he is running out of Lings and running out of them fast. 149 supply now to 74, which means I think Violet's finally going to be out of this. But we've seen him come back in this game before, and he is locking down an expansion here. But Ganzi really needs, well, I guess he has finally been able to spend all that money by building 2 additional command centers.
Right.
It's a good way to dump a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick way to just get as many units on the field as possible. Now, Violet still has not been able to get out there and take another base. Ganzi, meanwhile, is really just setting up to defend his mining bases. As long as he stops those mining bases,
Baneling landmines.
he's just going to, oh man, the Baneling, yes, once again, now Ganzi is moving out. Could this happen again?
Oh, no,
Will he once again lose so many
God.
Marines?
How does he even get the Baneling up there? How is he like, oh, no, I'm going to place some Banelings here. I'm going to play some Banelings here. I don't care if there's units there or not. They're just going to survive and get there. And I have to say, I think everyone forever has been waiting for a Zerg player who is really good at Baneling landmines. That's just something that's not really characteristic of many players out there. I got to hand to Violet. Even if he loses this game, those Banelings, I want to say, are what have kept him in it for so long.
Oh, wow. And now we see Ganzi. He's still, now he's staying active at least. At least he's trying to get some units out here right now and make this happen. But, of course, Violet, once again, just over there, denying him so quickly and forcing Ganzi back once again. Now, behind this, Violet has also gone for expanding yet again. Wow, it's so interesting. Ganzi has actually completely changed his starting position on this map.
Yes, he has. Now, these poor, well, he's going to clean this one up as well. I'm just going to say, if Violet manages to come back in this game and win, that is going to be the biggest mental blow to Ganzi, because Ganzi has been in the lead for like 20 minutes. And he's
and Violet's just not giving up. He's like, I don't care that you have 100 more food than me.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you anyway, even as he loses all of his units.
Finally, a very effective drop over here. There's the GG. Oh my goodness, what an exciting game. I have to say that, you know, for for the next game, I might have to take a breather because my voice already is going out because that game was insane. My poor voice cannot handle that many Baneling landmines, Rob. That was completely ridiculous.
Wild. Oh, man, what a crazy game, too. In the beginning, it seemed like, oh, okay, Violet's in a good spot.
Yeah.
He's probably going to take this. Oh, those Baneling landmines are sick. That's looking great. And Ganzi just said, no, I'm going to take 6 bases. And you're going to lose, Violet.
Yeah, man. What a crazy back-and-forth game there. So I do believe that, yeah, they're looking a little tired in their booth, but they're working on seeing exactly what's going to be coming up next. And it's just so crazy, the contrast between game number 1 and game number 2. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. So hopefully, can we take just a super quick break just to make sure that everything is good to go? And the players, I'm looking at them right now, they're getting set up there. So we're going to take a super quick break. I'm Husky.
And I'm Rob Simpson. Stay tuned for more StarCraft 2.